Welcome to So Into Bourbon. I'm Glenn, this is Charlie, as usual, from Charlie's basement. And tonight, we are just having some fun. I have set up a little blind tasting, which I know what we're drinking, Charlie does not. So I want to just kind of test Charlie's palate and get his idea. I'm not trying to trick him. I'm not trying to make him look stupid or anything like that.
He's trying to do both of those things. And I will not let him because I know this is Fireball and this is Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Ha!
Is
that what it is?
It could be.
Oh, if it was.
You never know. You never know. So anyway, I just thought it would be kind of fun just to, give you two unknown. I'm not even going to tell you whether it's a bourbon or a whiskey.
I love this.
It could be an Irish whiskey. Who knows?
I love everything about this, and I will tell you why. Is because this is fun to do. This is always fun, and the people that don't like doing blinds take themselves a little too seriously because they don't want to be made to look foolish and be like, oh, this is amazing, and it's their least favorite bourbon. Mm-hmm. But this is how you really figure out when you take all of the other crap out of it, the marketing, the branding, the way you feel about things, and you just go by taste. This is where you really kind of grow as a bourbon drinker and figure out what you really like.
Absolutely. So, with all of that being said, I say we should get started.
No, let's sit and talk for more. Yeah, absolutely. We're here to drink. Which offering am I having first?
You know what? Drink the left first.
Light in color. Are you not going to be partaking with me?
I'm having fun.
It is has a kind of a light color to it, kind of an amber, or kind of a light copper.
Imagine that bourbon is amber color.
Yeah, kind of brown liquor.
What other color would bourbon or whiskey be?
Brown. Not much clinging on the glass.
No.
At all.
Not at all.
Corn on the nose. A lot of corn.
A lot of corn.
A lot of corn on the nose. A lot of corn on the nose. I'm getting a lot of corn on the nose. A little bit of ethanol. A lot of corn on the nose. I'm going to drink it now. Cheers.
Before you drink it.
Okay. All right.
Give me your guess on proof. Do you think this is a high proof? Do you think it's a lower proof? What are you thinking?
Man, I don't know. There's quite a bit of ethanol and corn on it.
All right.
I would say 96 to 100, somewhere in there would be my guess. Although, I don't know. Cheers.
Cheers.
A lot of corn.
What else? What else are you tasting?
Oh.
Don't tell me just corn.
A little bit of baking spice. Kind of dark chocolate, a little bit. There's not a lot of complexity to it. It's not unpleasant, but it's just not... I'm going to take one more sip. Yeah, I don't know. That kind of classic bourbon profile to it. A little bit of spice, a lot of corn, a little bit of that kind of sweet alcohol. Again, not unpleasant. Does burn a little bit. Gives me a little.
Are you sticking by your initial proof guesstimate?
Yeah. One of the things, my guess is this is a lower shelfer. Is what my guess would be. And what I mean by that is it is a cheaper bottle of bourbon because a lot of times when you'll have an 86 or a 94 or a 100 proof bourbon that's cheaper, it drinks a little proofier than it should in a bad way. So I am going to guess that this is a some sort of shelfer. It's very corny. I don't have a great guess on the brand.
Okay, and that's fine. We don't need to know.
And I
that.
may be way off. So, but that's that one. So
let's cleanse.
And I love this. I love everything about the. I hope that's Pappy Van Winkle. I hope it is. But I got to tell you, I'm not a big fan of that.
Okay.
Gives me a little heartburn. A little burn in a bad way.
All right. Well, let's move on to mystery whiskey number 2. Oh, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you think this is a bourbon or a rye? Do you think, what do you?
That is a bourbon.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a much deeper, darker color. Still very little cling to the glass.
Yeah, not much
at all. Well, getting a little bit. Ooh, that's certainly interesting. Very interesting. Kind of a mustiness, leather. Malty, peaty almost. What is that? Oh, I can't quite put my finger on it, but that's
Is it the funk?
There's a little funk to it for sure. A musty peatiness.
I would agree.
For sure. Do not get a traditional bourbon nose on this. But that's a really familiar nose. And this is what's fun about blinds, because it's supposed to be confusing, because your mind goes in 27 different directions, 100 different directions, and all you're left with is your nose, your eyes, and your palate.
You don't have the marketing, you don't have the look of the bottle, you don't have
your preconceived
what you've heard
notions.
other people say. It's just you and the whiskey and your palate and your nose and
peaty leather on this one. Cheers. I'm excited for this one. I'm so excited. It tastes like biscuits. Like kind of a sweet, like not a cornbread, but I kind of get like a biscuitiness to it, like a baking,
like a dry,
like a flour, kind of dry, kind of a buttered biscuit. This may be Scotch. Boy,
I forgot to ask you before you drank it about what are your thoughts? Well, now that you've tasted it, what do you think on, is it a high proof,
low proof, 80 to 86 maybe. Although I don't know, it's for what it is, boy, that is really overpowering, like flour, honey butter biscuit, like a Popeye's biscuit, like is what I get. And
that's on the palate, not on the nose?
That's on the palate. Although, now that you say that, flour on the nose. Like it smells like my great-grandmother's kitchen with all the flour, and she had just kind of like splashing the dough in the flour is what I'm getting. Like a dough, like bread dough.
I can go with that.
What's the bread?
Sourdough?
Sourdough bread. Sourdough bread dough. That's exactly what it smells like. There's a little sweetness up front, but it dissipates really quickly. And you're left with kind of
a spice, right?
Yeah, a little baking spice. But you're left with that, like in your mouth, it's very dry. Like it kind of leaves you like, I almost want to drink a water now. Not unpleasant, it's just different.
Lingers
a little bit, but it's a very dry finish. Very reminiscent of a flour or doughy. I thought it would be more peaty on the nose, but now that I kind of got it, and part of this blind is when your mind and when your nose and your brain and your mouth get hooked on something. Like right now, I'm so hooked on that dough and the flour.
It's hard.
It's hard for me to pick up other stuff. So I'm trying to like kind of block that out.
Yeah. For expediency matters here, let's kind of get your overall thoughts on, if you had to pick one, which would it be?
The second one. The first one's garbage. I didn't like the first one at all. I'm going to nose it again. I'm going to drink it again. It's calmed down a little bit now that I've had a drink of water and something else that wasn't this. Yeah, this gives me Shelfer bourbon vibes. I can't put my finger on it. It's something with a high corn mash bill would be my guess.
So give me a guess on price point of this bourbon.
I would say
what you would pay for it.
I would say $25 or less.
Okay.
On this one, I have no idea what that is. It is not a bourbon. It would be my guess. And it is not a rye, would be my guess. I think that is a Scotch or some sort of whiskey. I'm very intrigued to see what that is because I don't know if I love that or if I absolutely hate that. But man,
give me a guess on price point on this one.
I don't think I can venture a guess because I genuinely do not know what this is. But that nose is overpowering, like a bakery. Yeah. Well, that would be no. Is this just a really bad weeder? See, and this is where my brain goes.
All right, so I'm not gonna let you go anymore. I'm gonna have you shut your eyes. I'm gonna place the bottles out here.
I'm so excited.
And then when you open your eyes, you're gonna see what they are.
So while Glenn is doing this and while my eyes are covered like a moron on camera for YouTube for our 33 subscribers to see, this is the kind of stuff you should be doing with your friends. And
eyes closed.
If my eyes are closed, but I don't have to cover them, I can be honest and cover them. When I first got into bourbon, I had my wife do this for me. We had a bottled and bond night, and I had her pour 4 different bottled and bonds, and I tasted them all, and then she labeled the cups and all that other stuff. So this is the stuff you should be doing because it's fun.
All right.
It makes it interesting. Can I open my eyes?
So, open your eyes. Left is left and right is right.
Unbelievable. Is this?
That's 1792 foolproof single barrel. That was a pick by Louisville Bourbon House.
And we have drank this before.
We have.
And that is really surprising. Really surprising.
This is ALICEBROWN, which is, you're never going to find this unless you're local here to Southern Indiana. So this is a local, they call themselves a brew-stillery. It's by DONUMDEI, who started out as a local brewery. And they made exactly one barrel of this bourbon. It's called ALICEBROWN. It's a barrel proof, 119 proof.
Would have never guessed 119 proof.
Yeah. I don't know what the mash bill is.
I don't either. Yeah, I would absolutely never have guessed that.
So what was interesting to me is, this is an Indiana whiskey, and the nose on this to me has that same nose as Starlight, that musty.
Yeah, the funk.
Yes.
The funk to it.
So.
Really, really, really interesting. I mean, because the nose on this is not a bourbon nose. It's not a traditional what you would nose this and be like, oh, that's bourbon.
So
it's the opposite.
Another interesting thing is, their first whiskey that they put out is called Dayshine. And when I first tasted it, I said, this tastes like a Scotch. It's peaty, and it was so interesting to me which basically I'm guessing this is just that same product but aged.
Right, a little older. So 2 things that I'm taking away from, that I will take away from this. The foolproof doesn't surprise me. I have had many, and this is why I love 1792 foolproof specifically, is because number 1, they typically don't drink like 125 proof, which this did not. And I have had some single barrel selections that are amazing and fruity, and I've had some that I didn't really care for, that are really corn forward. This is one of those, which is fine. It's still fine. Stuff like this is what gets me excited nowadays. The stuff where it exists for a tiny moment in time, good, bad, or indifferent, but once it's here and it's gone and people drink it, it's gone forever. I really don't know what to make of that. And that makes me very intrigued. So I'm excited to see what will happen with this, and we may have to revisit this one.
Yeah, so when I went to, the story behind this one is, I went into DONUMDEI Brew Distillery one day, and I've had Mr. Odie on my real estate podcast before, just to talk about he's a local business, and he makes excellent beer. I was in there one day and I saw the barrel sitting there, the one barrel aging in the store, and everyone who came in the store was allowed to sign it, so my name is on this barrel.
Do you know what kind of barrel it was?
I do not.
I would love to know if it's a Scotch barrel.
I really wanted to do an episode just on this ALICEBROWN bottle, but I thought, people aren't able to get this bottle, so maybe not. So that's why I kind of thought, well, we'll throw it into a blind.
This was great.
So maybe we can do another episode on this and give a little bit more information. There's a lot of information probably on the back of the bottle that I can't read at this moment.
Well, we'll definitely post pics on Instagram of this, and this has been on the Instagram page.
It has. So
really, really interesting.
So when I went to pick up this bottle, it was released at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I got there. I took a neighbor who is not really into bourbon. So 7 o'clock in the morning, they're there, they're letting you sample it. I took a sample, and it's 7 a.m. I hadn't had food,
you
coffee.
You just brushed your teeth.
It just kind of like, whoa, blew me away. My neighbor tried it, and he's not a bourbon person to begin with, so he was like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy my bottle. It was $100, by the way. So
it's 119 proof.
Yeah.
Man.
So he decided not to buy the bottles. So I said, I will buy his bottle. So thankfully, I have one bottle to open and drink and one bottle to hold on to.
So smart.
Yeah.
Really, really cool bottle. And I guess, as is often the case with So Into Bourbon, we have come to the point of what we do, which is find your local distillery and your local brew distillery or whoever is making cool stuff and get some bottles, because they exist in a moment of time. And I say this all the time. It's hard not to be romantic about bourbon, because these single barrels exist in a moment of time and then they're gone. And they get drank and they get sold and they get broken and they get lost, and then you may have one of one or one of 10.
Can I tell you? So we did an episode on the 2022 Angel's Envy
Cask strength.
Strength.
Yep.
That smells like that.
You think the ALICEBROWN
It's got the musty grape smell. That's what. It's musty grapes.
I don't get that. Now that you say that, maybe a little bit.
And corn.
I still get a lot of that flour and the sourdough bread, but man, blinds are fun.
They are.
They are so fun.
And I'm glad we drank that.
I am too. And thank you for bringing that bottle. That's an awesome bottle to open and to get to taste, because not a lot of people get to do that. And what's really fun is the 1792 Full Proof is you can do blinds on different bottles of 1792 full proof. So if you've got 2 store picks and a regular, do a blind on all 3 of them and figure out which is good, because they should all taste different. And you may find one that you're like, oh, that's great, and oh, that's not. But I do think it's interesting, and kudos to 1792 full proof. I did not guess it would have been 125 proof.
Yeah.
I was way off on the proof.
Both of these I feel drink lower.
The ALICEBROWN for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would never have guessed 119 proof. I think I said 86.
Yeah, you thought it was a scotch.
I thought it was a scotch. That shows how much I know.
In his defense, it does have that peaty, scotchy flavor to it.
There is some interesting things, and it's possible this is very young. This is what's fun about bourbon.
And I will guarantee you there's not one other YouTube episode about this bottle right here. Guaranteed.
I hope there is. I hope there's 2. But this is what's great about bourbon. So this is the stuff you should be doing with your friends, and have your wife or whoever, you know, pour you a couple and do a little blind tasting with 2 or 3 shelfer bottles, and take those preconceived notions out of the equation. You know, level the playing field to where it's just you, your nose, and your palate, and figure out what you like, what you don't like, and what's worth the money to you.
And hey, it's a great way to make your friends look stupid.
Kind of like this. Oh, it's 86 proof scotch. It's 119 proof 2-year bourbon, you dumb idiot. Such a dumb idiot. But I had a great time. Thank you, Glenn, for bringing these wonderful bottles. Like and subscribe. As
Check
always.
us out on Instagram.
Follow us on Facebook, So Into Bourbon, and follow this strapping young gentleman on TikTok at, what's your TikTok?
Whiskey Realtor.
The Whiskey Realtor. Thanks again for watching. Like, comment, all that good stuff, and we will see you down the road.
We out.